Happy World Card Making Day! Yay! This is a day that we look forward to every year, and at least I do. And I always try to have something special going on. And today I have a class that you had to sign up for before. But I also have posts going out every hour on the hour. My first one went out at 8 o'clock saying postcards here and you'll be entered into a drawing. So look for that post. I pinned it to the top of my page and it will be there all day long. And then I will be giving, yay! Hi, Amanda. I will be giving away prizes all day. So that'll be fun. Look forward to that. Make sure to post your picture because we want to see what you're creating or taking to the post office or the mailbox today. So read that post and I hope you join in. So other than that, we're here together on World Card Making Day, making a card together. Boom! We're celebrating. I love it. I think this is so much fun. So I'm back in my studio this morning. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Back in my studio, and to my left, I've got everything prepared for class today. And in front of me, I'm hoping that I've got everything ready for this morning. So as I see that you're all catching up and getting on, I am going to get started. So I hope you're ready for a fun fold card today. Yay, I'm excited. All right, as if you can't tell. I've already been on a 2-mile walk this morning and got my shower in just in the nick of time to get to you live today. All right, I'm going to tell you a little secret, and it's not so secret, really. I love In the Pines stamp set. That's what I'm using today. And this is the third time I have used In the Pines with this Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. I love the houndstooth, and when I went to get ready for this class, or this Stamp Together Saturday, I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't help myself. Now, one thing I was going to say that I don't think I've ever told you before, but if you look at my cutting instructions every week, I give you kind of a peek of what colors I'm going to use. So in the 2 corners on the Stamp Together Saturday cutting instructions, you'll always see the colors of the DSP that I'll be using that day. Just kind of a thing I started doing from day one. And if you look back, you'll see that Pear Pizzazz and Mossy Meadow were the colors in those corners. So there you go. There was my little sneak peek, and you probably didn't even know it. Okay, so let's grab our 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, and then you'll need, well, you don't need it, but I prefer to use my scoring blade or scoring tool of some sort. And for me, it's just easier to pull out my trimmer. And it's got a scoring blade here, so I really like that. And we're going to stick the paper in at 5.5 inches. That's in half. And we're going to score that. Okay, so I'll give you just a second to do that if you have a scoring tool. If you don't, simply fold your card in half when we get there. That's not so hard, right? Then we're going to move this over and we're going to put it at 2 3/4 of an inch next. And we're going to score it there. What we're making is your ordinary everyday Z-fold card. And Z-folds really do come in all different varieties, but this is your basic Z-fold card. If you don't have a scoring tool, when you fold your card in half, which we're going to do now, you can also just fold the front in half then backwards. So you don't need the scoring lines, but to me it just gives it a little cleaner, easier way to fold. So then see, you've got your Z shape of your card. So really it's just folding in half and then folding the front in half again. Now there are, like I said, all different ways. Some use it this way. We're actually going to use it this way today. We're going to move our fold up. I've seen them go down, and you probably will see different ones as we continue our Stamp Together Saturdays. So we've created our Z fold. Now we're going to take our DSP, and I told you to have the long way so that your directional paper would work on here. So hopefully that made sense and you cut it correctly if you have directional paper. I did not, so I always try to think, all right, if someone is using directional paper, how should I tell them which way to cut it? Because it's kind of like mystery stamping. You don't know what we're going to make, and I think that's part of the fun, right? Okay, so we've got our DSP there. Then we're going to take our white or vanilla. In my case, it's white. That's cut 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to adhere that to the inside of the card. And then it finishes it off, and it also gives you a spot to write on. So there we've got that, just that fun little opening. And then I'm going to put that aside so we can prepare our piece that goes on the front. So I told you to cut a piece of, I think it was 2.5 by 2.5. Whisper white or very vanilla cardstock, or white or vanilla. And then I said that you can either have a sentiment that fits this or a sentiment and image. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the sentiment and the image. And I'm using my colors that I shared earlier and a few stamps from In the Pines. Now, In the Pines has what I call it, or what Stampin' Up! Has called, a 2-step stamping system. So there are actually 2 tree stamps that layer together to create the look. So we're going to start with the lighter color. And while I'm doing this, you can certainly get yours stamped the way you want it. But I'm going to do my Pear Pizzazz close to the top for the trees, and look at how beautiful the shading is on those trees. Love that. And then I'm going to go to the Mossy Meadow next, and I'm going to do the outlines of the trees. So I'm going to ink those up, and I'm going to try to line it up. Stamp. Isn't that pretty? Look how dimensional that looks now. And then we're going to take the Thinking of You stamp that comes in the Pine stamp set, and that's going to go there like that. See, I can't help myself. I love In the Pines, and I love the houndstooth that comes in that Heartwarming Hugs paper. I just think it is so, so beautiful. All right. Then we're going to grab the Thinking of You and layer that onto the 2 3/4 inch square piece of colored cardstock that I had you cut. Now the next part, I forget if I told you to do dimensionals or not. If I did, then you're going to grab your dimensionals, and I grabbed a nice new sheet of dimensionals because I'll need them today for our World Card Making Day class that I'm doing. And I got kind of generous there, but I'm just putting the dimensionals on the top half. If I didn't tell you to do dimensionals, you can certainly put it on flat. It doesn't make that much of a difference. But since I can't remember, I'm doing it. All right, so then, oops, I don't want it that high. I want it sticking down a little bit more because I want that DSP to be showcased. And then I said, oh, that's a little too low though. It's my artiste inside of me that says, oh, that doesn't look quite right. All right. So then I said to have an 1/8 to 3/4, I think, inch piece of ribbon. I chose a burlap trim that we carry, but whatever you choose, you can just make a bow or even a knot. You know what I love about these cards that we make is when you share them, they're all different and unique, and you've added something or you've tweaked something, and I love that. I think that is what makes this so great, because we can be creative if we want to be creative, and that's really great. And then for me, I'm going to take a Stampin' Dimensional, which I have like 2 empty boxes of them here. I don't know why. Take a, not a dimensional, mini glue dot. And I'm just going to put this, maybe up here. You can decide where. It can go anywhere that you think it looks nice. I'm going to do up in the corner, and I'll show you why, because that's what my inspiration piece did. So I try to kind of follow the inspiration piece as much as possible for my first sample. You know, another thing you could do if you wanted to is put an extra piece of DSP down here just to jazz that up a little bit, or stamp some images down here just to clean up the white space, or maybe not clean it up, but fill up the white space a little bit. So here was my inspiration, and I actually, if you can see, that I kind of ripped it. I put it on something sticky and I ripped it, but I tried to piece it back together so I could show it to you today. But this one is just a simple Z-fold that I had gotten as a swap, and I don't think I have her name on it. I'm sorry to whoever's it was. You are awesome. But I just used that as my design template. So thanks for joining me early today. I know that that's easy for some of you and maybe not quite so easy for others. And when we're used to meeting at 10 a.m., it's hard when there's a switch. So I thank you for doing that. And I just want to say too, I plan to be around next week. My in-laws will be here. So, you know, if something happens where there's a change in plan, I will certainly let you know. But the plan is that I will be here, and I want you to look for the cutting instructions sometime over this weekend. I'm really trying to get them out a little bit earlier so that it's easy to find. But also, I always tell you to share your card that you made. And today, extra, I want to say, please share your card, because it's World Card Making Day, and I am having drawings throughout the day for free stuff. So you can share it here, but if you want to be entered into the drawing, go to my pinned post about World Card Making Day. It is at facebook.com/Stampin' Nut. And then at the top of that page, there's a pinned post, and you can leave your picture in the comments, and then you'll be entered into the drawings throughout the day today. So thank you for joining me. Have a good World Card Making Day. I hope you're celebrating by making some cards. Take care.